Best performing content is built with intention. There's always a reason why it works. Sometimes it's a hook, sometimes it's a structure, and sometimes it's simply just the editing. So in this series, myself, Ricky, and my good friend Rod will be breaking down some of the most successful short form content on YouTube, Instagram, and TikTok. In today's video, we are going to be unpacking 4 different styles of content. The first one is a financial advisor that's using a skit strategy really well to provide educational content on Instagram. And then we're looking at a really viral video from a Faceless channel on YouTube. And then we've got one of the most viral videos that I've seen in a while on Instagram that has a very comical ending that actually made me laugh. And finally, we've got a great example of educational content through an accountant on YouTube. So Rod, this is another example of where I think educational content does really well with one small thing. And I want you to try and figure out what I'm referring to at the end of the video.
You're worth $100 million and pay no income tax.
That's right.
Don't just wink at me. How does this happen? I'm over here getting slaughtered with tax.
I don't pay myself an income. When I need money, I just borrow it. No tax on borrowed money.
What?
Just borrowed another 10 mil actually. Should get me by for the next 10 years or so.
1 mil a year?
A 1 mil a year net. If I wanted a 1 million net salary, I'd need to pay myself almost $2 million a year because the government wants half.
But don't you need to pay back the loan and interest?
Maybe. Eventually. But I can defer it for years. And by the time the money is due, my net worth's gone from 100 million to 200 million.
So you're using borrowed money while your assets continue to grow?
Booyah. So even if I need to pay back 20 mil on the 10 mil I borrowed, I'm still up 80 mil as my assets have grown.
But isn't it risky living off debt?
Never stop the government.
True. You're worth $100 million.
Yeah, so I think it's pretty smart. What do you think about that video?
These sort of like almost satire but conversational style videos are really good because not only are they entertaining, but it's easy to follow what the storyline is, right? Because it's going from one person to the next and it's like quite clear how they're interacting and how they're responding to questions. This is an example of, instead of talking to someone about a concept, or teaching someone a concept, like this is how it works, this is how it works, this is how it works, you sort of show them with an interaction, a real life example, and he's taken it a step further by using a skit.
You still haven't found out what I was referring to that I thought was something simple that adds a little bit of character to the video.
Now that you've said that, right, I think the thing that is really, really great about this is once again, use of props. We've said it a few times, but like, okay, he's wearing a suit on one end, a really nice suit, and like, you know, he's well presented, confident. The way his tone is, he's got a bunch of Monopoly money at the front, so he's obviously loaded. And then the other guy's just wearing a jumper, a casual guy with a jumper, nothing in front of him. So you've got those two contrasts, and that really matches what he's saying, right? So use of props, really simple concept, but really, really, really important.
Yeah, I mean, he's not even interacting with the props, but the fact that it's there, for me, it adds to the satire as well. It's like Monopoly money, he's taking the piss out of it, really emphasizing the storyline. And actually, I'm not going to go through the videos, but he actually does this in a lot of his other videos. He'll use poker chips, he'll use small things just to really... Remember, educational content can be quite dry at times. If you're sitting there talking about tax, accounting, how to do your BAS statement, how to do your income statement, like, it gets dry. So just think of another way to kind of make it a little bit more interesting. Throw some poker chips around, use Monopoly money. Yeah, this guy's clearly on top of it, and I think this is a really good video.
And as I said, with a lot of educational content, it starts with, okay, people are trying to teach something, right? They're trying to teach people a concept. Okay, that already in itself is skip worthy. It's very rare that you can have high retention with one of those videos where it's just explaining a concept. It's quite analytical, or it's quite hard to understand. But then you go a step further and you do a practical example, which is easier to understand. Most people, when you give them an example of the concept that you're talking about, they will understand it. This goes a step further and is now talking about a practical example through a skit.
All right, I got a video that's gone super viral on YouTube Shorts, and I think that there's this one small thing that a lot of people tell me is cringe that they've used to help them get them there. I wonder if you could pick it out in the video.
This little girl was given the task of knocking down these dominoes, and everyone was excited to see the tower fall, and without a doubt, it was totally worth it.
What is the cringe element?
I think a lot of content creators might say, don't start off with this really in your face hook. When you say this is going to happen with a hook directly pointed at it, it's really in your face and obvious. Is that what you're talking about?
Yeah, I mean, I think the red arrow is severely underutilized in content, particularly for those who want to go viral. I know aesthetically it looks kind of lame. Like, I get it. It's like very Mr. Beast. Doesn't fit a lot of creators' aesthetic and style. But at the end of the day, if you're trying to go viral, you need to min-max every little thing. And putting a red arrow is going to do that. I can show you guys hundreds of examples of shorts with a red arrow at the beginning that go viral.
This is one of the most successful educational style short form videos of the year with 1 million likes. Let's see what techniques he used to get this successful.
So this bag is made in China. How can luxury brands print made in Italy? It's illegal, right? Now, you see, this EU law says that I'm allowed to say made in Italy if last substantial transformation is done here in Italy. So I have imported this bag from China. It cost me $20. But here in Italy, I will just stitch this zipper, which is legally the last substantial transformation. And now this bag is suddenly made in Italy. And I will sell it to you for $2,000. Because now you're imagining it was handcrafted by Italian artisans sipping Prosecco under the Mediterranean sun. The irony is that the Chinese artisans are now way more skilled than Italian or any European ones. But they don't drink Prosecco. Oh, and by the way, this entire video is also not made in Italy. It's so easy to trick you.
Yeah, obviously very good video. I really like the color grading on this video. It really does add to the storyline of Italian quality. The biggest thing that I would say that I really liked, and once again, eye tracking. When he brings up the EU document, we get a little red square. Simple stuff like that helps draw the attention of the audience to certain things that you're talking about, because sometimes, particularly in short form, there's a lot of stuff going on and it can get quite cluttered. So it's really important that you do help the audience look to where you want them to look.
Yeah, so look, we bang on about props so much, but it works, guys. This video is a prime example of using props to add to the storyline, to add to retention. How many times does he bring something out? How many times does he show something? He even takes a sip of the drink. Like, it's so important in showing and telling a story by, using props and using the things around you to enhance the experience. Another thing that I thought was really fantastic about this video was the zoom ins. So he's using props to elevate the visual, but then when he's making a point, when he's telling you, not showing you, when he's telling you an important point, he's zooming in, and it zooms in on his face, or it zooms in on the document, or whatever it may be. I think that's a really effective way to make a point.
All right, Rod, how many times has someone told you that accounting, legal, or financial content is boring and can't go viral?
Oh, all the time.
Well, the amount of times I see big videos rack up big views, not only on YouTube, TikTok, and Instagram, is crazy. And I really struggle to understand why more, particularly Australian businesses, aren't doing it more. And this is a great example of why these guys' content does so well. So let's analyze it and let's get into it.
This is how accountants file their receipts. All right, guys, a lot of people ask me on how to keep my receipts and file in a correct way for taxes. And most accountants, this is one way that we do it. We usually just pick up a phone and have a good habit of taking a photo and filing it. And so, for example, sometimes I would go and fill up petrol at a petrol station, and what I would normally do is, once I get the receipt, I'll pick up my phone, take a photo of it using Dropbox, and then file it into an orderly manner, usually in folders, January, February, all the way to December in the financial year. Save it into that date order fashion. So once it's saved, you don't need to keep a copy of the original file. You can just throw it away because we've got an electronic copy. And that's how accountants usually keep their receipts. This is how accountants...
So, educational video. What did you think?
Without going into like the technical stuff of the video, like editing and stuff like that, I think for me, one of the main things is the actual subject matter. A lot of people that do taxes need to keep records, right? Keeping records is tough. We get lazy, we throw things away. Everyone's got a phone. we can use a phone to track our expenses. It's as simple as that. He's talking about a concept that everyone can do. Everyone can apply this. And he's talking about it in a very simple way.
I think the biggest takeaway for me in this video was how well he does the opening frame. Something that we always talk about is, can we understand the context of the video from the opening frame, particularly when it comes to education, because it's a lot harder to retain the audience if it's not entertainment, right? How to keep receipts like an accountant is such a great textual hook to get anyone interested. This is probably more directed to people who own businesses, so this is not going to go super wide, but at the end of the day, he's using his YouTube channel as a sales funnel for his business. So he doesn't really care if the wider audience doesn't see it. Business owners see it, they get value out of it. They watch 6 or 7 of his other videos, all of a sudden he's got himself a client. This is why service-based professionals, particularly in Australia, I don't know why they're not doing it. This guy has like 70,000 subscribers and he does just very simple YouTube videos. Fairly sure one of his videos, actually, let's just quickly click on that. Fairly sure one of his videos is literally just like how to do a BAS statement, how to do, you know, generic stuff. Business owners do this. Like nothing crazy, right? And his content is so simple and so well done. He's got 43,000 subscribers. This is the kind of reason why I don't understand why service-based Australian businesses are not getting onto social media to provide educational content. Let us know in the comments which of these 4 videos you enjoyed the most. And if you enjoyed our short form content breakdowns, leave a like and subscribe to the channel.